Where has this week gone? It's November 7th of 2024. I'm Dan Ramey. He's Mike Smith, the icon. Mr. Hand 2, Aaron Clandon, is off camera right now, about to make his approach. Thank you.
Coming in for a landing.
And yesterday was Mom's birthday. We marked that. Today is my older brother Mike's birthday. So happy 70th birthday to brother Mike today. Can't imagine what 70's like. But you know, there was a time where I couldn't figure what 60 was like, and 60 has come and gone, and now 70 is my next big milestone.
I'll be 65 November 20, which makes me a Medicare kid. Is 60 what you thought it would be for you?
You know, I wanted to play vintage baseball, at least up until I was 60, and I can say that I did that.
You can retire.
And I played up until I was 61 and a half. And I don't know if I'm going to step away or not.
Well, in light of your recent back issues,
you would think
you better stop it.
You would think. Welcome to the program. Just ahead in a matter of moments, a look at what's making news for you today across the Scioto Valley, and look at sports. And this date in history is all just ahead. But first, let's tell you about our friends at the forecast.
The National Weather Service.
Yes.
And they are our friends. They try to keep us in sunny weather, and we're going to have that for the next few days. Sunshine Thursday today through Saturday. Cooler daytime highs starting today of 65. And nighttime lows around 40. You might have a night here over the next few where it might get down to 38. But I don't think they're talking about anything about frost in any of these next few days.
That's good. All right, just ahead, news. But first, our friends at Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. That's the number to call if you want to find a dumpster for whatever use you have it for, whether it be residential or commercial. They can help you out. 740-253-8389.
As a basketball coach and a dad, I need to be able to keep up.
Mark came to the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc.
I was so confident in Dr. Fleming, he explained everything.
Together, they decided on minimally invasive spinal surgery to relieve Mark's pain and get him back to what matters most. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good. Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Intermedia Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Intermedia Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And today we will share who that player is for the week, coming up during our Littermedia Game of the Week preview show. Follow along with us at littermedia.com. By the way, that's where you'll see all of the players of the week for the year so far, and you'll find that under the sports section on our website. And our social media contact information is all up in the right-hand corner, including a player for Litter Media Radio, which will be vital tonight, and we'll explain why in sports.
Ohio Department of Veterans Services, the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame Executive Committee, and the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame Foundation has honored the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame class of 2024 during its annual induction ceremony this morning at Ohio State University's Fawcett Center. Local veterans being inducted include Michael Carroll, Air Force vet from Fairfield County, Joseph Gary Fenderbosch, an Army vet from Gallia County, David Levacy, an Army vet, also from Fairfield County, and Gerald Wilkin, an Army vet from Highland County.
And I see Congressman Bob Winstrip on there as well.
He is indeed.
Very good. So.
Or, not Bob. Is it Bob? It's not. Brad Winstrip.
Yeah. Did I say Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies.
Bob, B-O-B-B.
To B-R-A-D Winstrip.
Yeah. And
Dr.
Brad is
Winstrip.
from Warren County, I think.
Yeah. By the way, you should be able to watch that on the Ohio channel. So if you get that, that's where we watched some of it last year when we had some local people involved. The Ohio State Highway Patrol is reminding everyone to buckle up this upcoming holiday season. Since 2019, a total of 2,919 people who were not wearing an available safety belt were killed in traffic crashes on Ohio's roadways. That's something that Lieutenant Kaplinger told us when he was here, sharing some statistics. Stats also show that 73% of vehicle occupants aged 21 to 40 killed in motor vehicle crashes were not wearing an available safety belt. So make sure you buckle up. And again, you'll be able to read more about that at littermedia.com.
Public comments being sought on a proposed bridge replacement on Norman Hill Road in Ross County in the rural area of Concord Township. The permanent right-of-way is located along the forested stream channel. No homes or businesses will be removed by the project. And the environmental commitment date is December the 2nd. The project is currently expected to be awarded April of 2025.
They are hitting the road in Pike County, and information about job and training services and resources available through the OMJ Career Center, Pike County. The next OMJ Van On-the-Road event will be Wednesday, November 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Pike Outreach at 306 Bridge Street in Waverly.
Of course, OMJ means Ohio means jobs.
Yes, sir.
All righty. And that is your topics for today.
Just landed from Frankfurt just a few short moments ago, and had a good time meeting the veterans who were there for the assembly that was taking place. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was just going to be a small, intimate type thing. When I got there, they were filling the gymnasium with rows of students from kindergarten through senior class. The band was playing, the choir was singing, and I lost count on the number of veterans who John Goodwill was walking around, allowing them to introduce themselves. We did have one World War II veteran. He was 98. Wow. The man looked like he was no older than 78 years old. But I think there was about 35 to 40 veterans there. So that was really cool to see that. And I had the opportunity and the privilege to be the keynote speaker. And going into it, I thought, I wasn't a veteran. I never served, but I was able to give a parent's view of what it's like to be the parent of a veteran, and appreciate all the folks that listened and sat through my speech today. So
I couldn't believe you skipped breakfast.
I just couldn't get there in time this morning. You know, we went the back way from Pike Lake to Frankfurt. You've made that trip before. You know it's not an easy trip to make. And I was following along with my, what do you call the person that tells you directions?
The GPS.
The GPS. She was talking me through everything, so to get me there. All right, just ahead, a look at sports for you. But first, Haynes Total Health Care Center. Chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs they've been caring for since 1974 as they celebrate their 50th year of serving our community. You want to find out more about them, click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it takes you to HaynesHealth.com.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Time now for sports.
Yes, sir. Leonard Media Radio's Game of the Week preview show coming up at noon today. We'll have a little bit on the state semifinal volleyball match tonight between Adena and Lake Catholic. That's a approximate airtime of 5:50. There's 3 matches being played ahead of it at Nutter Center. And Adena Lake Catholic Cougars expected to get going at about 6 o'clock. And, of course, tomorrow night, Dan Ramey and B.J. Daly will be heading to New Lexington, where the Logan Elm Braves take on New Lex. And that is a 6:50 airtime tomorrow night on Litter Media Radio.
Braves and Panthers.
Ever been to New Lex?
I have not.
Seems like I was over there, golly, 25, 30 years ago for a playoff game. That was also one of the sites that we tried to get in at the radio station when Westfall was playing over there during COVID.
They said they had no room for you?
Well, we ended up we broadcast the game watching their live stream. And they were talking, oh, yeah, you'll have close-up camera views. You won't. That didn't happen. And it was like mostly BJ and I just talking, well, that looked like it was a nice play, but I can't tell who it was.
I've been watching some of the huddle videos off their huddle cam, and there was a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and the kid runs right off the screen. And I'm thinking, it never does catch up with him until it's celebration time. And I thought, boy, how do you depend upon that AI to help you do a ball game?
Yeah. So. Speaking of Logan Elm, the Mid-State League Buckeye had their all-league volleyball and football teams come out. We've got them all posted on our website story. But the highlights for football, Bulldogs quarterback Ethan Thandanavong is the back of the year. Logan Elm's Bryce Perkins is lineman of the year. Coach of the year is Bloom's Jeremy McKinney. On the all-MSL volleyball picks, Bloom Carroll's Evelyn Brown is the player of the year, Sienna Hogue, defensive player of the year, and their coach, Kyle McFerrin, is coach of the year because it was a sweep for Bloom Carroll in both football and volleyball. And staying kind of in the MSL, we talked earlier in the year, even last year, about Ohio volleyball sensation Christian Thompson of Fairfield Union. She'd already received an offer to play volleyball at Ohio University. But guess what? She's not doing that, and she's not even playing volleyball. She has decided to accept an offer from the Ohio State University in track and field. Christian can flat out jump, so it's no surprise she is a high jumper. So congratulations to Christian Thompson. That signing ceremony, by the way, for her is Wednesday, November 13th at Fairfield Union High School.
Earlier in the week, it did not work out for the Minford girls soccer team, but the Minford boys picked up a win last night, and they're going to play for Division V state championship this weekend, advancing with a 4-0 win over Kidron Central Christian. Congratulations. And I forgot about Mac having the Wednesday night schedules now. Managed to watch some of this game on TV last night. Ohio Bobcats football blasting Kent State 41-0 in Mid-American Conference play.
You know, they had I was watching X, formerly known as Twitter, some of the highlights of the Bobcats game. And, you know, the outside of the stadium is really impressive, the home stands. But when you look at the visiting side, I've seen high school stands as big as that.
And a lot of that has to do with them playing on a Wednesday night.
No, I'm not talking about crowd. I'm talking about the bleachers. Kent State's away bleachers are not. I mean, they would be comparable to maybe what you'd see at Dublin Scioto, which is big for high school, but you would think for a D1 school that'd been a little bit bigger.
But the crowd, small size.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're collecting TV money. And
that's correct.
They say that makes up the difference, I guess. I remember when Chris Givens played at Miami, I made it over for his final game. It was senior night, and there might have been maybe 1,000 people there. But that big stadium they have, it was cavernous.
Oh well. NAIA, Ohio Christian University men's basketball out of Circleville, they went up against Division I Wright State last night. They fell to the Raiders by a score of 89-60. Our local guy, Brandon Knoll, had 18 points in that ball game. But props to the Trailblazers from OCU for going over there and taking on a big D1 program, even though they lost by 39. And how about those Cleveland Cavaliers? Will they ever lose? Not last night.
Now that you've said it.
They beat the Pelicans 131-122. So they are now 9-0, the only NBA team that has not yet lost.
But if they do lose their next contest, if they're managing to win 90% of their games, that would be incredible.
I believe they said this is a franchise record for the start of a season. 9-0.
Wouldn't surprise me, even with LeBron James, during that period. Right. So, all right, just ahead, a look at this date in history. I see we're rolling it back to 1944.
First non-sport event that we've talked about this week. Okey-doke. Litter quality propane, online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Your trusted comfort advisor. They were in studio earlier this morning, and that chat is on our YouTube channel now if you'd like to hear what was said. I was unfortunately unable to be here. Maybe you can fill us in a little bit, Mike. Give us a quick recap.
Talked a lot about, of course, the change of seasons. It's getting colder, making sure that everything's ready for the heating season, not the cooling season. And Tom Hughes, who was with us, he's kind of like their safety guy. Kind of give us some advice if we're doing some things in and around the furnace unit, filter changing and all that sort of thing. Some safety tips on that, and some neat giveaways that Amy was telling us about that are coming up here within the month. So check that out, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Very good. Time for this date in history, 1944.
Yes, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt is elected to an unprecedented fourth term in office.
Never happen again.
Can't. Yeah. FDR remains the only president to have served more than 2 terms. Roosevelt died the following March. Of course, in those days, you could run for more than 2 terms. But after Roosevelt's death, the Congress came along, got a constitutional amendment put in where a president could not serve more than 2 elected terms. So if you were appointed, or not appointed, but if, let's say, you're vice president and you came into office to fill out a term, you could be elected to 2 full terms, which would be more than 8 years in that scenario, but you can't serve more than 2 elected terms now, according to the change after FDR's death and that constitutional amendment.
I'm trying to remember when that last happened with Nixon stepping down. Gerald R. Ford came in, but
he lost his election opportunity
to Jimmy Carter. Yeah, I remember being in the band and going to Columbus. There was a rally for Gerald Ford my freshman year, and we were. He was speaking at the State House, and Taze Valley's band was one of the bands performing at the State House there on the lawn.
Yeah.
And I remember we were listening to what he had to say, and out of one of the windows on the building there, someone had stretched out with a Jimmy Carter sign. I think his colors were green and white, I think, and it just stood out amongst all the red, white, and blue that was
That's kind of like a photo bomb, isn't it?
Precisely. Yeah.
I saw, I was watching Fox's election coverage the other night. Of course, they have this big desk with like 5 panelists on it, and then they've got Bill Hemmer on the side doing the map reading and all that. Well, the cameras came in for like out of a commercial break on a side view where they've got the camera or the people at the desk in the distance, and there's Bill, and I don't think he knew he was on camera. It almost looked like he was photo bombing the shot of the set, and he's kind of looking around like, what am I on?
I think ABC may have had the largest group of people in studio. They had their panel of, I don't know, 6 or 7 that was on the main table. Then you had the kiddie table over here that had another 4 or 5. And then there was another table on the side. And it's like, what are all these people doing? You know, and it's like they're tabulating and all this kind of stuff. But you talk about being in camera shots. I flipped over and I was watching some of the Blaze TV. And they had one fellow that was at Howard University. And he was walking around like this, just bouncing back and forth from his camera shot. Well, he stepped into 2 other news reporters' shots, and one of them was a female, and she's standing there. She's got her microphone like this, and she just kind of goes like this and pushes him out of the camera shot. And then he walks over to another, this guy's over there, and he's doing the same thing, pushing him out of the way.
Have you ever seen where reporters are on the scene of something, and a bypasser will come in and say something? The one that I thought was absolutely the most hilarious was during a hurricane, and how these reporters are, well, this reporter was doing, I can't even remember what network they were with. They were doing that, and this couple comes walking behind them, and it's like, what are you doing, a dance or something? Because the wind wasn't blowing hard enough to blow them around, right? Which leads you to believe the reporter was faking it a little bit. So drives me nuts.
Yeah, like the ones that show the flooding background, behind them, the standing water, and it's like, oh, it's horrible, and so on and so forth. And then here comes people walking through like 6 inches of water.
Yeah. The second funniest one was Jeff Flock, who still works at Fox. Okay. He's out of the Midwest Bureau most of the time. But he was on the East Coast for a hurricane, and he was standing with his back to the tide, thinking that he was okay. And a rogue wave came up. I mean, this thing was like shoulder high. He didn't see it coming. And when it hit him, he blurted out "Oh my," and he was apologizing for the next 30 seconds for what he said. But it's like everybody on the watching it could see it coming, and it's like, get out of there! And he didn't see it until bang, and hit him right in the back.
I'm picturing my dad sitting in his recliner, drinking something, and going, "Oh, watch out for this guy!"
Oh golly, yeah.
Those cool live reporting instances. Yes. All right, we've got more live reporting to do coming up at noon, and that is for our Litter Media Game of the Week preview show. New Lexington taking on the Logan Elm Braves in football and volleyball. We've got an interview with Laura Smith today. Yeah. Okay, so Mike and his wife sat down, no doubt, in front of the were you in front of the refrigerator today? Or
no, I was back in the den, and I put up a rocking chair in front of a case that we have, and it wasn't until she walked away from the set, she said, "Oh, there were some volleyballs back there." I said, "That's why I set you there."
Mike and his forever thinking.
Yeah.
So, and Laura's like, "Here we go, another one of these interviews."
And tonight I get to work with my daughter, Sarah, who is a former Adina volleyball player that was in 2 state tournaments.
It's a family affair. By the way, Mr. Matt Litter and I were talking earlier in the week, and he says, so is Mike going to do this solo? I said, yeah, he's going to be all by himself. So you've turned me into a liar. So, Matt, Sarah is volunteering her time tonight to be on that broadcast.
She's been on this show.
Yes, she has.
A number of times. So.
Yes.
And you'll be with your cousin.
And my cousin Aaron will be there taking video and photography.
It's a family affair.
And we're going to try to set up the post-game live on Facebook like Dan did in the Waverly Boys State Tournament appearance. We're going to see if we can get that. So we'll tell people, hey, we're wrapping up now. Go to our Litter Media Facebook to see the post game with the coach, and they always have some players in there too.
And the steady hand of Mr. Hand too.
That's right.
Holding the camera for that.
Yes.
Asking those probing questions.
Yes. Do you plan on asking questions?
We'll see how it goes, Dan.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's it for our daily program. We'll be back with you again here in just a bit to talk sports. Details just ahead.